Welcome to this explainer. If you've got an indoor cat, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about here. That quiet, persistent little voice of guilt. You catch your cat just staring out the window and you can't help but wonder, am I doing the right thing keeping them cooped up inside their whole life? Well, what if I told you that this guilt, it's built on a complete myth? Throughout this explainer, we're going to dive into the data, the biology, and the psychology of your feline friend. And by the end, I promise you a revelation that could literally save your cat's life. So let's just get right into it. The big question constantly hovering over our heads is, are you depriving your indoor cat? Because if you're stuck believing you're holding them back from this grand, natural, wild lifestyle, you might actually be missing out on what they've been trying to give you all along. Today, we are completely shifting that paradigm. We're moving away from owner guilt and stepping right into a place of absolute empowerment. And we're going to start with some hard numbers. Which brings us to Section 1, the lifespan reality check. We're looking at indoor versus outdoor. We really need to start with a stark reality check about what the outdoors actually does to a cat's lifespan. And wow, there is a dramatic difference here. Indoor cats regularly live anywhere from 12 to 18 years, with plenty even making it well into their 20s. But on the flip side, stray and feral cats surviving outdoors full-time, they often only live 2 to 5 years. And here is the truly disturbing part about cats with just partial outdoor access. Nobody can give you a reliable number for their lifespan. Why? Because so many outdoor cats just simply disappear. Their deaths never get recorded, there's no vet visit, no official cause of death. Just an empty food bowl and an owner left wondering forever. The statistics are incomplete purely because the cats themselves go missing from them. Because the truth is, outside, there's just a gauntlet of unseen threats. And it explains exactly why that lifespan gap exists. I mean, out there, your cat isn't the apex predator they might think they are. To a speeding car at night, they're practically invisible. To coyotes or loose dogs, they're prey. They easily become hosts for ticks and fleas, or, even worse, targets for severe diseases like feline leukemia and FIV. Then you have the silent killers, things like antifreeze, which actually tastes sweet to them but is incredibly lethal, or hidden rat poison, or unseen territorial fights that leave these nasty, deep wounds. And the absolute worst part about all of this? None of these dangers announce themselves. There's no warning label out there in the wild. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Every single one of those threats, you have already erased from their life. Keeping that front door closed is absolutely not an act of deprivation. It's not a punishment. It's a daily active choice that you make to consistently protect your cat. It's a profound act of care. You aren't just locking them in, you're locking the danger out. Okay, moving on to Section 2, decoding a cat's needs. Let's look at the biology and psychology here. Now, if they're so much safer inside, why on earth do we still feel so guilty? Well, it's mostly because we completely misunderstand what cats actually want. When we picture our cat's dream life, running through a golden meadow, chasing butterflies, we're actually projecting human cravings onto them. We want novelty, we want adventure and open horizons. But a cat's well-being is biologically hardwired into secure territory, predictable resources, and total control. Think about it. To a human, the unknown is a thrilling adventure, but to a cat, the unknown is just a threat that hasn't introduced itself yet. Honestly, that's exactly why just moving your living room couch 2 feet to the left can trigger a full-blown feline investigation. And that brings us to what experts call the solved world pillars. By keeping your cat indoors, you essentially take the absolute chaos of the outdoor environment and flip it into a perfectly mastered domain for them. Pillar 1, their territory is secure and undisputed. There are no rival cats crossing their borders. Pillar 2, resources are entirely predictable. Breakfast and dinner arrive right on schedule from a large, reasonably well-trained mammal. Yeah, that's you. And Pillar 3, total control. They know every single surface, every good hiding spot, and exactly what time the sun hits that one spot on the rug. Which brings us to this really beautiful realization. A cat with a solved world doesn't spend their energy on survival. They spend it on you. Just think about that for a second. Outdoors, their stress hormones and their vigilance, they can never fully switch off. But indoors, because they have absolute certainty and zero survival stress, all of that brilliant, quirky, social, and observational energy, it gets redirected straight into their relationship with you. Let's explore that a bit more in Section 3, the language of closeness, and how you build a deeper bond indoors. So, that redirected energy we just talked about, it creates a uniquely deep bond. Actually,
Did you know that adult cats barely meow at each other in the wild? It's true. All that chattering, those little trills, the very specific, demanding 3 a.m. scream for breakfast, they built that language almost entirely for humans. And indoor cats become remarkably fluent in it simply because you are the most interesting, important thing in their secure territory. You see, an outdoor cat literally has to split their attention across an entire neighborhood. They're constantly monitoring rivals, patrolling borders, tracking prey. Their human essentially gets whatever focus is left over. It's kind of why outdoor cats often treat home like a hotel, right? They check in, eat, sleep, and check right back out. But an indoor cat makes you the absolute center of their universe. They actively seek you as their primary source of safety. They watch you. They even learn which of your footsteps mean food and which mean you're just getting up to grab a glass of water.
Now, sometimes people will criticize this. They'll say, oh, indoor cats are way too dependent on their humans. But let's reframe that for a minute. Dependence in a relationship built on trust actually has another name. It's called closeness. Researchers have actually found that cats form genuine attachment bonds to their owners, very much like young children do with their parents. So it's not a flaw at all. It's just this incredibly beautiful expression of genuine, concentrated attachment.
All right, moving into our final part, Section 4, Saving Their Life Indoors. We're going to talk about the masking instinct. Now, I promised you a literal life-saving revelation at the beginning of this explainer, and this is exactly where the indoor environment proves its ultimate worth. I want you to ask yourself this. What will your cat never tell you, no matter how much they love and trust you? And it's not that they don't want to communicate it. It's that an ancient, incredibly stubborn survival instinct physically will not let them. And this exact instinct is what makes feline medicine so incredibly difficult for veterinarians today. The answer lies in what's known as the masking instinct. Because cats evolved as both predators and prey, an animal that shows weakness in the wild very quickly becomes a target. So cats developed this evolutionary tactic to completely hide their pain, to mask it. They will act totally normal until their bodies literally just can't anymore. But today, this instinct actively works against them. By the time a cat acts visibly sick to us, that illness has usually been progressing for months, or sometimes even years. Because of this masking instinct, the early warning signs for major conditions, things like kidney disease, diabetes, or thyroid problems, they are unbelievably subtle. I mean, we are talking about really boring, mundane daily changes. Maybe they're drinking just slightly more water than usual, or you notice bigger clumps in the litter box, or, and this is a big one, a trip to the box that produces nothing at all, which, by the way, is a total medical emergency. Or maybe they're just leaving a little food behind, picking a weird new sleeping spot, or having very slow, subtle weight loss. These are the quiet whispers of illness long before the cat ever allows you to hear the shout. And right here is where the outdoor lifestyle completely fails them medically. An outdoor cat's biological evidence is scattered across an entire neighborhood. They might drink from a puddle, use a garden 3 houses down as a bathroom, or just hide under a hedge if they're feeling unwell. So an owner of an outdoor cat completely misses these crucial early warning signs because the evidence simply isn't inside the house to be seen. The cat's masking instinct is perfectly hidden by the great outdoors. But indoors, that dynamic completely flips. That litter box isn't just a smelly chore. It is literally a medical chart. Your water bowl is a daily lab test that you run without even knowing it. The controlled indoor environment actually turns your boring daily tasks into vital, life-saving medical observations. It is literally the one and only thing that beats their ancient masking instinct. Because they're inside, every single clue lands somewhere you can actually see it. You notice changes in days that an outdoor cat's owner would inevitably miss for months. And when it comes to feline diseases, those months mean absolutely everything. Spotting those tiny, subtle clues immediately is very often the entire difference between comfortably managing a disease for years or tragically having to say goodbye far too soon. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want you to ask yourself one final question. And honestly, let this permanently replace any of that lingering guilt you've been carrying around. Are you just keeping them inside, or are you keeping them safe, understood, and alive? Because every single time you close that front door, you're giving them a solved world, a deeper bond, and the daily medical vigilance that ensures they're going to be by your side for a very, very long time. You made the right call. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a whole new appreciation for your indoor companion.